So my speech today will be a little different because I actually want to talk about a really simple and useful methodology, how you fill your backlog with things that actually really matter, and how you work with them in a more effective way. So show of hands, who knows impact mapping already? I know some of you do. Okay, cool. So you're going to shout out if I tell something that is wrong. You just correct me, okay? But before we dive into it, I want to say that I'm really grateful that I can be here in front of such a big crowd, because I was at it kind of on the last call. And ever since my speech was announced, I got a lot of feedback from some of you guys, so thank you very much for that. Unfortunately, most of the feedback was around my LinkedIn pic that I got to change it. So being a product manager, I've immediately included your feedback, and for my obligatory intro slide, I chose a different thing. So hopefully you can recognize me on that one. Well, and a part of that, as Thomas already said, currently I work for Notino. I run the development for web and mobile. I have more than 10 years of product management experience, which means that throughout my whole career, I haven't done anything else. I cannot do anything else. I don't want to do anything else. Throughout my career, I actually ran and I built organizations that run web, PC, mobile, and Mac products. And obviously, I'm a dog person. And originally, I'm from Bratislava, so you can hear me speak Slovak. But I moved to Brno in the year 2012, and I came to work for a company that doesn't exist anymore. It's not because of me. Don't worry about it. I gotta say that. It was called AVG. Okay, some of you know it, and I see some of my former colleagues here, which is a pretty good segue, because today's story dates back into the time of AVG. Because 3 years into working there, actually, my former boss flew over from San Francisco, and he wanted to see me, he wanted to meet me. He was really excited. He wanted to tell me something about a new product idea. And well, when we met up, he told me, hey, Michal, I got this really cool idea. We got to build a security platform for families, right? And then he went on and he told me, like, okay, we're going to protect all of the devices within your family from one console. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be used by everyone, right? And then he went on, and he threw these ideas at me. And after 5 minutes, I was kind of like this, because soon I came to realize that his visionary position or his visionary contribution was already done, and it was now on me to deliver it, right? You know that feeling. But that wasn't even the worst part of the story, because the worst part was that there was no backlog, right? So I couldn't even be a backlog monkey or whatever, because there was no backlog. So that's for going to backlog 0, right? We started with that. So I got a bit worried, honestly. And then when I drove home, I remembered this impact mapping thingy. So I read something about it, and I really liked it, because honestly, it's just a really simple and useful methodology. It's a certain way how you build a mind map. And obviously, as with all these methodologies, you start with a goal, right? Here. And yes, it's got to be smart. It's got to be specific, measurable, attainable, testable, whatnot, or reasonable, whatever the R is for. That is common for all methodologies. What I liked about this one is that it also pushes you to formulate constraints. And constraints are really important, because those are boundaries within which you can move in order to be able to reach the goal. And maybe I explain it on an example. So take a situation where you have a new app and you want to get to 1 million installs, right? So the best thing that you could do would be, okay, give out $5 to everyone who installs your app, right? But the thing is that probably you don't have $5 million, right, to get the installs of your app. So one constraint could be you have to do it with a limited budget or with the current budget. Another good example would be if you got to deliver something in 3 months, can you double, can you triple your capacity? Can you hire that many developers? Probably not. So doing it with your current resources would be another constraint. And what not to forget would be you cannot do something illegal, or you should not do something that is not ethical. That helps you really to get a clear goal. And once you've done that, you can move to the next branch where you formulate who are the people or who are the groups of people that can influence or that can help you to reach the goal. Those are your actors. This can be your users, your personas, or even market segments. Doesn't really matter. Put that on paper, and once you have that, you got to go to the next branch where you formulate the change of behavior you want to trigger with the users. Again, on a simple example. If you want 1 million installs of your app, you want the people to install your app, right? If people are not using a certain payment method within your web shop, you want them to pay with a certain payment method within your web shop. It's really not that complicated. And you have to list all of these changes of the behaviors of your users or user group in the second branch. And once you're done with that, then the last part is really easy. Because there you list everything you can do as a company to motivate the users to trigger the behavior or to change their behavior. Those are your deliverables or future deliverables. Nothing too complicated, right? So I gave it a thought and I decided, hell, what can happen? So I went for it. I reserved one whole day. I've gathered almost 15 or more than 15 people from different departments that I found that could be a good customer proxies. Sales, marketing, customer services, UX, and of course developers. And for one day, we did nothing else than just the impact mapping stuff. And this is actually the outcome. Please don't read it. Doesn't really matter, focus on me. Because with this outcome, we had a lot of deliverables that we can actually do that were tied to a goal, which was great. And after we did the workshop, I got a lot of positive feedback from the people that were included. And usually, with this kind of outcome and with good feedback, I guarantee you there will be one person in the room, usually someone who likes workshops, who will go, let's now deliver everything, right? Right? Yes, that was the answer I was hoping for. Never mind. But the thing is, even for this, impact mapping has a resolve because it's not about that. It's definitely not about delivering everything you formulate in this session. Because first you gotta prioritize the stuff, okay? Then you gotta deliver it one by one, and after each delivery, you gotta check whether you made impact on the goal or not. When you reach the goal, you don't go on, you don't deliver it, you just basically drop it. You scratch it, you remove it from the backlog, you formulate a new goal, and evolve the products where you want to be. And there may be even a time where you find, okay, the goal was too optimistic, or it's not relevant anymore because time moved on. Okay, that's fine. Just scratch it. Move to the next goal. And this is actually something that is also in the impact mapping book. So you don't really need me to tell you about this. You can read it up if you want to. Now I would like to give you some wins and fails that I learned the hard way by running a couple of impact mapping sessions. So these are the things you won't find in the book. As for the wins, well, I really liked that the deliverables were really tied to a specific goal. So I was not left with a random list of ideas. Usually these manifest in an Excel, or with a couple of things that are like my 2 cents, right? The second thing is that we were able to prioritize it really quickly. So even with dot voting or some other prioritization methodology, even after the session, you can prioritize it with the people in the room, and not to get your ultimate backlog priority, but to get the top 5 to 7 items where you're going to do your product management workshop. You got to verify it with users and see whether it makes the impact on the goal or not, and determine the right priority. The third thing was, and this was a, I don't want to say lubricant, catalyst. Catalyst to the fact. Okay, sorry. Catalyst, because by having all of the people within one room, they felt like their voice was heard and they were on board with the outcome. Even if their idea didn't make it to the top of the list, they were okay with the outcome. And even after 1 or 2 months, when we went back to this and worked through the items, they knew what the items were. And last but not least, it really helped me over time to keep my focus, because I was always reminded, do it one by one, always measure the impact, and don't aim to deliver everything. So this was really positive for me. Some of the things I learned the hard way are on the opposite side. First of all, with that kind of meeting, it's pretty expensive. You have 15 people, expensive people, developers, managers, whatnot. So you got to make sure that if you run the impact mapping, you get an outcome that you can work with, because otherwise you create huge waste. Second thing is, that goes hand in hand with the first thing, is that you got to have a skilled moderator for it. So you can either participate or moderate. So if you moderate, don't participate, and you need to have faith in the group that they will come up with meaningful things. The third thing, which is a bit problematic, is that impact mapping usually doesn't give you non-functional requirements, technical requirements, and prerequisites. So make sure to remember it, and you need still to add them into the backlog. And well, with impact mapping, the things are not done. By formulating the deliverables, you still need some good old PM work, because you need to detail the things. You need to get the UX, you need to split them and put them into production. So with that, here are a couple of tips from my side if you want to run impact mapping. Number one, to save some time and to kickstart the discussion, you can prepare some of the things offline. For example, you can do a preparation for the goal. You can also even do a couple of branches of the impact map on your own, and then you can socialize and explain it to the audience. It will kickstart your discussion and save you this like intro phase and that kind of thing. Second, go smaller. It was really a big pain adding the non-functional requirements afterwards, especially for a product or for an activity that was supposed to be built from scratch. Try to do it on a partial goal or as a meaningful addition to your backlog. Don't forget the prerequisites, the non-functionals, and the technical stuff. Learn that the hard way. And the last and ultimate tip from my side is that go ahead, try the impact mapping, try it on your own. Hell, even let me know how it went, positive or negative, because I truly believe that trying new things, making our own experiences, that's what truly will distinguish us from being backlog monkeys. Thank you very much.